This is a quick drop in just to say I am running 2 giveaways. These are purchased out of my own personal money. I have no sponsorship for these giveaways. I'll be giving away a Roku Chromecast, and then through the whole of December I'll be doing a giveaway of an Apple 4K TV. I have no sponsorship at the moment, so if anyone fancies giving me a bit of sponsorship, I wouldn't say no. Anyway, on with the show. Hello and welcome to my second part on the history of Granada Television. For those of you who do not know what Granada Television is, it was a franchise in independent television in the north of England, and it was up until about the mid 2000s when ITV came under one universal branding. So Granada Studios tour opened until just before 1999. Now, I've been to Granada Studios tours on many occasions. The problem was that it was a working studio, access to the actual site was extremely limited, and also you had coach companies doing holidays, going to Yorkshire TV's Emmerdale Farm, which is another series in itself, and Granada Studios tour. So Granada Studios tour, as you can see from this, did feature heavily around Coronation Street. I'll be talking more about that later in the video. I'm going to talk about some of the other attractions that were here first. So as you can see, they had a replica Houses of Parliament. So this was a working studio, as I just said. We had very many programs filmed here. The original Dragon's Den, which is called Shark Tank in the USA. We had a comedy series called Phoenix Nights, using the same set as the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Club. We had Brideshead Revisited. I don't think there was any movies filmed here. If there were, I'm very sorry for not saying that. Now, this was a working studio, but it was also a theme park. This theme park was only in operation for about 5 or 6 years due to the constraints of filming very many different activities. So it was, I think you could go about 2 or 3 days. Now, Nemesis has been coined as the UK's first suspension roller coaster, but unfortunately this is not the fact. There was actually a roller coaster predating that called Skytrax. This was based on the ITV programme Gladiators, which was an import from the US as well, and Skytrax was one of the things that they did in it, and it was the world's first suspension roller coaster, but it was only a single rider at a time, had very low throughput, had multiple issues, it being a prototype machine as well. If you look at Sean on Theme Park Worldwide, he has more on the history of this particular ride. So the theme park section of this, which was not a very big attraction, did have different replicas. It had a USA, New York set. It also had some Edwardian sets, some sets from Charles Dickens. It had Brideshead Revisited sets. It had a small costume little tour as well, so you could see the different costumes that were made. Now, originally, when Granada Studios tour was announced it would be closing, it was a weird one, because they told us that it would only be closing for about 1 year for the installation of exciting new attractions, and also for allow for more filming of TV series that couldn't happen whilst the attraction was opened. Even when you went to the attraction, sometimes you could not visit the whole set as filming was taking place. They also had one of the first UK's themed theatres. I think this had Robocop, Predator aliens and things like that. But this isn't really the end of this particular site. So part of this actual venture had been saved by the Museum of Manchester. They did try to save Coronation Street as well, an iconic soap opera, the first in the world. The set was a Grade 2 listed building, but was demolished due to it's just not being looked after. We'll go into that later in the video. But they decided, Grenada and the BBC, that we're going to move to nice, new, shiny facilities at the quayside in Manchester, which they have now been in for about 5 to 6 years. And then the BBC were the first to shut their studios in London, and then about 4 years ago, ITV shut their iconic studios in London as well. Now to the aforementioned Coronation Street. So for those of you who don't live in the UK, Coronation Street is the world's first continual soap opera, with William Roach being the oldest person who has been in the soap opera continuously from its conception. Now, you could revisit the original set of Coronation Street up until about 2014, 2015, when eventually it was sold off for redevelopment. Up until that time, the site and the rest of the Granada Studios complex was left abandoned. Security was about, quite a few urban explorers got in. I am not into that, but yes, it was completely abandoned up until that time. This is just after Granada Studios closed its doors, and this here is another Rover's return, which I'm going to talk about. But Coronation Street wasn't just in Manchester. They had a small exhibition that I actually visited in the Sandcastle complex, which is still opened. Unusual for something that Grenada has actually run. There were rumours that this exhibition had made it to America and then it disappeared, but I cannot find any information that this has ever happened. And then this is the Rover's return. This was actually a real working pub, which is unusual for something that's a set. I'm going to get back to the other Rover's return in a minute. But no, this was a small Pepper's Ghost exhibition where you would have actors acting on screen using the Pepper's Ghost illusion. So Coronation Street has had many very interesting storylines, but none compare to the biggest one I think they've ever done today, where they spent the most money on it. As you can see now pictured, this is a picture of a train crash, and this predated 7/7 by a long way. So this was about a tram that crashed into Coronation Street, as it had a viaduct. As EastEnders also has an underground station, which is iconic to that location as well. But these were amongst some of the last episodes ever filmed at the original Granada Studios locations, and these would have been some of the last pictures of the location. As you can see, there's a hotel in the background and it got overlooked. But Coronation Street, as of today, can now actually be visited in the Coronation Street experience, and this is made up of the interior sets, which we'll see a picture of in a minute, and also the brand new Coronation Street complex. And this is, compared to the one at Granada Studios, this is absolutely massive. You can actually wander around a lot more of the set than you could ever do before. It is a full-on experience, as you can actually go down the different areas, something that just was not possible due to the size of the set in Granada Studios, as it was on a very small parcel of land, where this parcel of land has just been given over to the whole of Coronation Street. So there we are. Now Coronation Street have gone down the sponsorship route, and they have gone in sponsorship with Co-op and Costa Coffee. So Costa Coffee is in most places around the world, which is a small coffee shop similar to Starbucks, and Co-op is a small convenience store in the UK. It used to be a major supermarket, but has now downgraded to be a small convenience store. These are some of the internal sets that you get to see on your tour, and that's about it really. And so what happened to the original Coronation Street set? It fell into disrepair. Now these are pictures taken by urban explorers. I do not condone people to break into areas. It was then eventually demolished in about 2019 and is now currently no longer standing. Now, I made a decision to make all my videos Prime. This will mean subscribers will have early access to my videos, but this means I don't have to charge anything Patreon for it. I'm also doing a giveaway of a Chromecast and a Roku. These are the HD versions for UK based people. I am also doing another December giveaway of an Apple 4K TV that will be announced. The winner will be announced on the 2nd of January 2022. I also would like to thank the 15% of you that have subscribed to my channel, and I also would like to thank you for 300 hours of watch time. Yes, this is small fish compared to other channels, but remember, I've only been going for less than 2 months. So please like my channel, subscribe, and next time on this video series we're going to be looking at the 2 other theme parks that Grenada owned and they are now no longer in operation. So it will be Camelot theme park and the American Adventure. Thank you. Good night.